Hello and welcome to this week's Cozy Crochet Vlog. If you are new here, my name is Larissa and I crochet plushies. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back and thank you for being here. Today's video is going to be all about organizing, cleaning, rearranging. I'll give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of the absolute disaster that is my crochet room. So please try not to judge me too much, you guys. I feel like it could be worse, but it's just really mentally taxing to have a space that is so disorganized. But I'm one of those people, I can keep it clean when it's clean, but as soon as it gets a little bit unhinged, it just gets out of control. So this is what we're working with right now. It's just a disaster. And also my yarn wool, if you can see here, is also a disaster. So we need to reorganize my yarn for my yarn wool. It's also a bit sparse, so I'll try and fill in a little bit here and there with my Teddy Bakery yarn, obviously my own yarn brand. I usually just keep it all out in inventory to sell, but I also use it a lot, so that'll keep me from running out constantly and taking more of my yarn from my inventory. But that's going to be the plan. I'm going to try and start by just organizing the yarn wool because I feel like that just gives me a bit of calm and it's a bit easier to handle. It's less taxing to start there. Whereas I'm feeling very overwhelmed just looking around at this room, where I want to start. And I've also been thinking about rearranging the room for a little bit, but it's just so much big furniture that I'm really scared to start. But I feel like this isn't serving me anymore, the setup, and I feel like it could be nicer. And I also want my filming background to look nicer than what it is currently. So maybe I'll add the wool separate. I don't know. We're going to plan it out. I'm not going to make any promises, but we're going to definitely start off by just cleaning, reorganizing the yarn wool. So before I get started unpacking the yarn wool, I'm going to leave the top 2 rows just as is because the row here with all just random yarn is all my fluffy yarn and also my yarn samples for my yarn business. So it's all yarn that I'm not really going to use except for the fluffy yarn. They're all samples and yeah, business purposes. And then obviously the top row here is just my patterns and it's a mess because I constantly take them out. So I might try and find a new purpose for that shelf as well, but I don't know where to put all my patterns. So this is just the whole thing. I'm going to definitely have to make a trip to IKEA or Kmart and try and get some more storage. And I think I actually might leave the 3rd row here as well. This is where all my jumbo chenille yarn is. And I feel like there's not much else I can do. I think it's organized enough. It's not protruding. It's not a disaster like the bottom 3 here where it's my chenille yarn. So this is what we need to work on. And then this little thing, my little plushies and stuff is just all over the place. But this little thing is usually where I keep my Teddy Bakery yarn, my display yarn that I used for to take photos and just keep as a display. So we'll definitely fill that in again. And then I'm currently trying to get photos for my crochet kit launch. So I'm going to try and pack this up and just redo it again. I need to take more photos tonight, but you know what? We need to fix this mess. I can set that up again a bit later. So we'll worry about that later. But for now, we'll refill in my Teddy Bakery little shelf and then we'll do the bottom 3 here, all of my chenille yarn reorganized. We're starting off on the floor. This camera setup that I have right now is very, very risky. So fingers crossed that nothing happens. But I'm going to start off by filling up this little shelf with my Teddy Bakery and get it nice and pretty again. And we'll worry about this monstrosity in a moment. We have all my shades of Teddy Bakery laid out on the floor. Each one of these little cubbies holds about 6 skeins, so only 3 are actually shown. So I like to pick the most colorful ones for display just because, it's pretty and it makes me happy. But yeah, and then unfortunately, some of these ones have to be sacrificed and hidden in the corner. But because it doesn't fit I have 19 colors of Teddy Bakery, soon to be 20. So we have a couple that don't fit. So it only fits 18 in the cubbies, which leaves 1 stranded, which is so awkward at the moment. But at least when I get my next color coming in the next launch, it can be up top with the poor one ostracized one. But that's the go. So I'll just start putting them away. So all the shades of Teddy Bakery have been put on display except for Snow. And I think what I'm going to do is actually just put this, I don't know, I was going to put this skein of Snow up there. I think I might actually tuck it in like this so that it's still there, because I was going to put it just here with my other yarn, but I think I'll forget and just like reach for it one day and use it, which I don't want to do. So this has all been tucked away nicely now, and I put the Snow at the bottom so you can't really see it when you're standing up. So that's the first part done of a very long cleaning journey. So now let's move to my yarn wall here, and let's get these skeins down onto the floor. Did you guys see that? Oh my god, where it's all just collapsed. Because I don't have enough of these little things and I didn't do it strategically. Oh my god, that's gonna stress me out. Okay, let's just get all this yarn down. Oh my goodness, what an annoyance. I was gonna try and do it like shelf by shelf, but the universe had other plans for me. Okay, all the yarn is now on my floor. Plans have gone a little different to what I had envisioned. So we're gonna start with the bottom shelf. I'm also actually going to bring out some more Teddy Bakery yarn from my garage, from my inventory, and I'm going to bring it in here for the organization, just so that the shelf fills out a little bit and so that I have it easy to reach, because I feel like I don't have that much Teddy Bakery here currently for personal use, because I sell it all, but I need to keep some for myself so I can use it and also use it for promo. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm back with a haul of Teddy Bakery. So we've gotten like 2 or so skeins of each color that I have available to me. And that's gonna puff up my stash a little bit for now. And so basically what I want to do is I'll keep the color scheme pretty similar for each shelf. I'm not going to fill out each shelf. Usually I just try and fill it out, but I think we'll keep it a bit lenient, not like full, just so that it can be more of like a shade-based shelving sort of thing going on. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm just going to get straight into it and start organizing, because it's going to be a pain in my ass. So let's dive straight in. The first shelf is now finished and everything is nice and tucked in. I've added the second shelf here. Hopefully it stays stable. But now we're going to go into like the yellows, the oranges, and the pinks. Second shelf is now done. It's actually a little overstuffed, which I'm surprised by. I guess I brought in quite a bit of new yarn, so that's good though. I have a good little amount of stock going on. So all we have left is the third and final shelf for all my greens and blues. So that should be nice and easy for me to finish. we have officially finished the yarn wool reorganizing. It actually didn't take that long because now I only have like 3 shelves of chenille yarn, whereas it used to be like full, the entire thing almost. So yeah, that one was pretty easy, and I feel like it just looks so much better when it's nice and stocked and just like organized neatly. I think it makes a really big difference to a clean room. So that was the perfect task to start my cleaning journey. Now I'm going to try and just clear the space, and then I've started thinking about ways I want to reorganize the room. So first off, I need the clean space, and then we can sort of tweak my furniture. Now that I've finished the yarn wool, I've picked up some of my plushies and I've put them in like some cardboard boxes. I've repurposed my boxes. We're going to get back to that in tomorrow or whenever I have time to do that. But tonight, the rest of tonight, what I'm going to do before I go to bed is I'm going to be reorganizing my active yarn stash. So this is what we have at the moment. So I usually keep my working yarn or like my opened skeins in a trolley like this. And that's basically all the real estate I have. But I do have a couple of skeins here that need to be wound into cakes. As you can see, I like to keep them all in cakes here. So we're going to wind them up. And then I have this little basket that I keep right here that I use for like some embroidery thread that I use commonly. And then just like little bits of yarn where I have like barely any left that just sits there for if I need it. So I'm going to also just wrap those up and tuck it back into this little tray slash, I don't know what to call it, like this crate nicely. So that is going to be my task for tonight. So we'll try and get that done. It won't take very long. So definitely be able to get that done in the next like 20 minutes. Little crate has been reorganized. It looks so much better than what it was before, you guys. And I'm actually really surprised that all the yarn fit in here. I felt like before it was like overflowing. So that's good. And then now I'm just going to wind up the skeins of the bigger, proper, actual big skeins of yarn. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Yarn has been winded into cakes or wound. Those are my tasks completed for tonight. So we're going to come back tomorrow and get to rearranging. And I'm thinking of making some, not like huge differences. Like I'm still going to keep the same furniture. I'm not getting new furniture or anything for now, but like we'll change the layout for sure. Today's the day. I'm ready to make some big movements with the room. It's still not very clean, but I thought it'll just sort of be easier to reorganize it before getting it fully clean, if you know what I mean. Because then, you know, we can get it perfected in its final state, but the floor is basically clean. I'll have to move some stuff out of the way, but like it needs a vacuum, but you know, there's not like stuff hanging around here like there was before. So what I was thinking is I'm going to keep this table the way it is, but I want to move this shelf to be next to my yarn wool over here, and maybe move my yarn wool a little bit more this way. And then I'll have to figure out what to do with these boxes later. And then I'm going to take this table and I'm going to just move it here so it's like an L-shaped situation, if that makes sense. So that's what I want to do. Hopefully it looks good, but I'm not going to have the tables like facing each other. I'm going to have the table that I'm putting at an L shape facing away. I don't know how to explain it properly, but I'll just do it. I'll just move the table and you guys will get to see what it looks like. We're going to start by unpacking everything on this shelf because I'll move this shelf first and then I can unpack the table and move the table. I'm going to be watching a little bit of Love Island while I do this just to keep some background noise. And yeah, this shouldn't take me too long. If you hear my stomach rumbling, I haven't eaten yet, so here she goes, if you can hear that. But yeah, that's the plan, and then we'll go and get lunch. Okay, I've taken everything off except the printer and I'm gonna leave the boxes down here. I guess I'll remove the printer quickly and then we're going to just get this little shelf out of the way so that I can move the table. Shelf is now gone, so what I'm gonna do next is start clearing out the table, like unplugging the stuff so I can move the table and have it right here, L-shaped, but with like the computer facing that way. So that's what we're gonna do. I also just quickly vacuumed the space here so that we can move the table in and have it all clean and ready. The table has been moved and obviously it's still a mess in here, so I don't know how I'm feeling about it. This is what it's giving. Let's see if I can... Okay, like it's something new, which is nice, but I don't know. And then I need the wall space here to be looking nicer. Y'all, I don't know. I'm a little bit stumped. So I'm gonna try and move this thing behind here because I need it to be like with the PowerPoint. There's a PowerPoint there. I also need to manage like the cables here because the PowerPoint is all the way down here, and yeah, we need to manage these cables to make it look clean. And because I wanted to do like a little couch area, well, not couch, but like a little like chair, a comfy, like an accent chair. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this table finally because that table is just a nuisance and it's like my dumping ground. And I feel like as long as it's there, I'm always gonna treat it like a dumping ground because it doesn't fit in with the room, and I need to like work on having my space be clean all the time. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of her as well. But yeah, I'm gonna try and move use this wall space a little bit better. and then try and add in like a feature, a little accent chair or something. Because we'll keep my knitting machine where it is in the corner there because of the cabinets. Can't really do much about that. But we can add a little chair somewhere in here. We will make it work. I've now moved the little rack here. And so this is what it's giving. Desk here. We've got this, I put my little yarn like right here next to the window. And then there's a gap here, which I don't really know what to do with. And then this shelf that I need to fill out, and then the yarn wool here. And I really wanted the yarn wool to be moved over here in this little gap, but I can't do it by myself. And I'll have to like empty it and stuff and move it. So that might be a job for the weekend. And then, yeah, or I put a little accent chair here and then move all of this down a little bit more closer to the door, and then move the table closer into the middle here, and then like get rid of all this stuff going on over here. So that's what I'm thinking of, but in the meantime I can't really do anything, and also I don't have like a proper extension cord to move the desk into the middle of the room, and then I feel like it's gonna look really random with like two desks, like I don't know. And I need to just get rid of that giant ass table so I can figure out what to actually do. So, and then this gap is really bugging me. So yeah, I'm going through a little bit of an internal struggle trying to do this all by myself and not really having like as many options as I would like. So we're just gonna try and work with what we have for now, and then I can always move it around on the weekend, but this will just give me like a head start to figure out what it actually looks like. Shelving unit has been set up, except I just haven't plugged in my printers because I just wanted to see what it looked like first before actually plugging it in and having everything set, but this is what it's giving. I really don't mind it. I feel like it's giving, like the space feels nice, and I think I have a good amount of room between my desk and the backdrop, but I'm trying to see what it would look like when I'm filming, because that's part of the whole reason why I wanted to move around. I wanted my filming background to be nicer. How do you guys feel about this? Obviously I need to have my seat down, and then I can really see what the filming setup looks like. But how do you guys feel about this? I think the wall's a bit empty here. That's why I want to put like, I wanted to do like a little like nook, a cozy nook with a chair, and then like move this a little bit that way so that we can just see the yarn wool and the shelf. I feel like it's okay, but yeah, definitely need to fill out this space a little bit more, like with some art or something. I can add my like print back here, just give it a little something. I have two prints actually, so we can use the two of them. But yeah, I think that's okay. Now I need to set up my desk area, set up the other desk, and then get rid of that table. But I put in the box here of my plushies. There's gonna go here for now because, you know, I don't know what to do with this space, and it's just somewhere to put them. It's fine. It doesn't look that great, but it's something. And I've changed like the way I set up this little shelf so that it looks a little bit more colorful and pink, and I put the printer on a lower tier here so that it will be covered when I'm filming. And yeah, I feel like the space does seem like once it's done, it's going to be a lot more open, and it's going to look a bit more like proper, which is good. But I don't know if this is the permanent setup that I want just yet. This is what the setup looks like for my filming now that I have my chair here as well. So this is what the background will show most of the time. Obviously, I like to change it up. Sometimes I'll do this, but the sun is coming in hot right now. So this is where there's a bit less sun. But when it's bang on centered on the desk, this is what the background is giving. And it's covering my Scarly Teddy Bakery, so I might move the Teddy Bakery shelf a little bit out, but then it's just so awkward on the wall space. I really don't know yet, because it's just covering the whole thing. So unless I stack it on something else, but there's nothing else to really stack, and I could put in, like, I really still want to move in an accent chair. So yeah, it just feels too empty. Like it's not balanced, which is really bugging me, but I don't want to move it like the other shelving, and I can't move the big fat yarn shelf just right now. So we're gonna have to find ways to work around it, try and fill in the space, make it a bit more interesting. I guess the symmetrical vibe can be kind of like cool, but just not right now, not completely blank. It needs something to fill it in. So we'll figure that out. I have so much stuff, so I'm trying not to buy new things. I just want to use what I already own, try not to be wasteful. So I have a lot of stuff I can work with. I've finished the baseline of the reorganizing, and I feel like it looks kind of bad, to be honest. I'll show you guys in a minute. But before I do, I want to describe, like, I feel like it looks really clinical and not at all like a comforting, homely, creative space. It literally looks like clinical, like a hospital. Not like specifically, but it's like the vibe of that. And I really, really, really dislike it. I think I need more art, and I definitely think I need a reading nook with an accent chair to warm up the space and probably a rug. So I'm going to show you guys now. I'm going to try and back off into this corner. I don't want to open the door because TV's on. My parents are listening. So let me know what you guys think. You cannot tell me this doesn't look like... It literally looks like a doctor with the two chairs. It looks like doctor and patient space. It's so clinical. This table needs to be gone. But even with it gone, it's just going to look even more liminal of a space. So, like, knitting machine area is fine. I think it'll probably look better during the daytime. My hospital lighting isn't really helping, but gosh, this is awful to me. It just feels like the antithesis of creativity. It feels like a stock image, even worse. So, I don't know if you guys will agree. I feel like you will, because I know my fellow crafters are watching. But this wall space is too empty. I'm going to move my panel heater from over there to over here, but this is like a winter exclusive. So, and the panel heater really just like takes up space. It's really annoying. This wall needs more art, and I'm feeling like I need to move this table more centered. I need to get rid of this awful thing. Move this table more into the middle, and it's just going to have to be like mismatched. The two tables are just not going to have to, like, they just can't line up. It's going to look really weird, but I feel like it'll just look a little bit more lived in. And then I'm going to add the chair in there into this little corner. I'm going to move the Teddy Bakery and these boxes. Actually, or I was thinking I'm going to put the chair into the space here that I would have moved to the side. We are nearing the end of this room reorganization saga. I have finally gotten rid of that giant table in the room, so now I have a little bit more space, and I've added in my accent chair from my bedroom. So this is what it's giving. It has a little ottoman as well, so it does take up a bit of space itself. And then I went to Kmart yesterday and I bought this little side table, and it was like $20-something, so like, not a big deal. And here I'm excuse the dirt, but this is like an old plant pot holder that I have. The plants that were in here have since gone to heaven, but we're going to go and get some new plants and fill it out and give a bit of greenery. Something I have been missing in this crochet room definitely is plants. I want to also include some on my desk right here. Don't mind the mess. I've been crocheting last night. And we also need to work on some cable management back here. So I need to figure out how to do that. I've never managed cables in my life, and I feel like managing them from the middle of the room is going to be a very tough start. But this is what it's giving. Otherwise, I think the background is really nice for my filming. So that's what I'm really pleased with. And then everything else. Oh, I moved my knitting machine here. I don't know if I shared that with you guys, but I did move my knitting machine here because there's like a little slot of space in between here where I can actually use the knitting machine. And like I can move my desk chair if I want to, and use it here. And I think it made a lot more sense to have this here and then have this little chair space here. And what I'm missing is a rug. I want like a circular rug that just goes under here. I don't want it to be like square or anything. I want it to be rounded and have just a nice like maybe like pink to match the vibe of the rest of my room. So I have like a pink circular rug under there, and then possibly we'll do a carpet, like maybe like a rectangle one under my desk here later on, but not right now. We'll just stick with the circular one first. I think I can get one at Bunnings. So that's what I'm going to do. Bunnings is like a hardware store here. But that's what I'm going to try and do today so that we can finish off the room redecoration, and then we'll just like place everything neatly and have it all done. So I'm really, really happy that we're finally getting somewhere, and I think it doesn't look perfect, but it looks decent, and I feel like it looks a bit more homely now. The crochet room reorganization is officially done as much as possible. The only thing that needs to be added is a picture frame so I can frame up another picture. That's it. So I'm going to give you guys a final tour of everything that I've done. I've done a little bit more off camera, so I'm going to show you guys now. So this is what it looks like when you come in through the door. I have added another shelf stacked on top of my Teddy Bakery shelf. Ignore this Lululemon bag here. It's not gonna be there in a couple days, but I added a second one. It's only $20 from Kmart. So of course I found that this would be worth it, and it really just adds an extra something to my wall here and for the background when I'm filming. And I've used it to add my patterns, all my crochet pattern plushies on here. I still wasn't able to fit all of them, so I still have some of them in like a little box, but I've then also added some more patterns here. They were up here before, so I swapped these two shelves around and done all of my sample yarn up here and my fluffy yarn up here, and then my patterns here, because when I'm filming on my desk, it cuts off like right around here, so you can see a little bit of the patterns, but you can't see this mess up here. So I'm very happy with that. I think one day I was considering maybe even moving this down here, but I do take my plushies out a lot and take photos and film with them, so it never really stays that neat for that long. So I'll just leave it for now. And then of course my crochet kits are up here as well, but then on this shelf, nothing has really changed. I like moved the printer further down, like a couple little things here and there, but the essence of it is basically the same. And then this little corner is my messy corner. I think I'm just okay with that because there's nowhere else for me to put this stuff. Like in this room, I don't really want to put anything in the garage and stuff like that. So I've just decided to add this right here, my little boxes with all my plushies from my market. And of course, as I sell stuff through, I won't need all of these boxes at once, but I got this really big tub from IKEA, and I also got these crates. This is going to be part of my market setup though, so it's not really serving a purpose in my room for storage. It's more so for markets, but I can also use it as storage, so it kind of has like two purposes. And then these are the prints and paintings that I'm going to hang up here in this space. So that's what's missing. And then of course I have my knitting machine right here. I think this fills in this space really nicely. Before I was really getting frustrated that it looked so like dull, but I think this knitting machine just adds a little bit of color and it just looks a bit more lived in. It's not really neat. This room setup definitely isn't neat. I don't think it's giving Pinterest, but you know, it's purposeful, it's utilitarian, and it's also cozy. So I'm happy with that. And then we have my desk here. That's just standard. Haven't changed anything about it. So you know, it's all right. It always gets really, really messy. So try and keep it as minimal as possible. And then we have my yarn trolley just tucked to the side here, which I really like how this looks. It's a little bit less handy than where it was earlier when I started this video in my old setup, but I feel like it looks quite nice tucked in here, just a little pop of pink and also just not in the way. And yeah, just a nice little area. Cable management, still terrible, but you know what? You win some, you lose some. And then here we have my little accent chair area. So ignore this painting on the ground or mirror on the ground. We'll get rid of that at some point. But I did end up getting a nice fluffy carpet. This carpet is actually really huge. Before it was like touching up here. It would have had to go underneath this desk a little bit as well. So I folded it in the back there and it's not a full circle, as you can see. So this is an appropriate size now. It's a very fluffy carpet. So I really like how it feels, and it was not expensive. I find carpets really expensive, so this one was the least expensive one I could find from Bunnings, actually, which is kind of random. But yeah, and then I have my little plushie as a pillow here, which I find really cute. It was in my bedroom before, so I've moved it out. And yeah, we've got the accent chair and then the table. Still no plants. I have been looking around for some plants, but I haven't found ones that I find like small enough. So I think I might have to go on Facebook Marketplace and like get some plants. But yeah, that's one of the other things I also have to do before this room is fully finished. But you know what, I tried to do it today, couldn't find any. And then we got this lamp. I wanted to do a floor lamp. I asked you guys over on Instagram and my broadcast channel if I should do a floor lamp or a table lamp. And overwhelmingly, you guys voted floor lamp, but there's just no power outlet around here. The nearest power outlet is here. So I was just kind of like, just the cable management thing, I guess it can kind of like go under the carpet. I don't really know. I was a bit worried, and I was worried my parents would get really frustrated with me for getting another big ass lamp, because I kind of always just like buy random stuff and I didn't want to do that. So I got this, which is wireless, and it's just like got 3 settings from Kmart as well. It's like $20, and I feel like it looks cute. It's nothing crazy, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of underwhelmed with how much light it gives. It's not practical at all. I don't think I can do any reading with that lamp. So it might just be temporary, or it just might be aesthetic, and I'll keep my overhead lighting on, but I really like ambient lighting. Anyway, that's what I've done, and there's no cables, which makes me happy, and it's just easy to like move around. I have my big panel heater. This is only here in the winter time. It gets gone as soon as it gets warm enough to not have to deal with it, but you know what? It's just a sacrifice. This thing's like fallen down, so we're just gonna ignore that. And then my mom is currently using this desk because we have a lot of family members over, so we've had to sacrifice some rooms for them to stay in, so ignore her little setup going on here. So this desk, nothing changed about it, except I moved the monitor from like there to there, I think. And that, yeah, has been the same. So I don't need to recap that one, but aside from that, that's my entire room. I'm really happy with how it has gone and what it looks like now. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. I'm sorry it was a bit of a mess and like kind of dragged out, but everything I do is kind of dragged out. I never do anything easily, but yeah. And if you have anything you would like to say, please leave in the comments below. I really love hearing your guys' thoughts and opinions. And if you want to see more crochet related content, you can subscribe and join my little family. Love you guys. Bye.